Hello, my dear students, and welcome back to English class with Ma'am Cleo. Before diving into our lesson, let us first take a look at our learning targets. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to use verbs in sentences and identify action verbs, linking verbs, and helping verbs. Most of you will remember that verbs show action. Verbs show us what the subject of the sentence is doing. However, to have only one definition of a verb will simply limit your ability to recognize verbs in sentences. There are actually 3 types of verbs, and this video will help you recognize all of them. First up, we have action verbs. Action verbs show, well, action. An action refers to anything you can physically or mentally do. Let's take a look at these sentences. Trizia jogs through MacArthur Park every Tuesday and Thursday evening. The ambulance siren blared through the night. The puppies in the pet store wagged their tails and barked for attention. Bea thinks about her future all the time. All the words written in bold in the examples show some type of physical or mental activity. They are also called main verbs because they tell us about the condition or action of the subject. Take note of the verb in the last sentence. Bea thinks about her future all the time. While think may not elicit a picture of movement or action, think is an undertaking, a development of thought which shows progress and growth. Now, the best way to practice identifying verbs is by answering exercises. So grab a piece of paper and something to write with. Let's answer this short exercise. Identify the action verbs in the sentences. If you have trouble finding the verb, simply ask yourself, what did the person or animal or thing do? Some sentences may have more than one verb. Pause the video now to answer. Continue watching the video to check your answers. Identify the action verbs in the sentence. Circus clowns scare my nephew but delight my niece. The verbs in the sentence are scare and delight. The light reflects off my new mirror. The verb in the sentence is reflects. The lady guard sprayed my hands with alcohol. The verb in the sentence is sprayed. One of my students plays the drums. The verb in the sentence is plays. 5 representatives visited the factory yesterday. The verb in the sentence is visited. Next up, we have linking verbs. Because linking verbs do not show action, they are sometimes more difficult to identify. But once you understand the function of linking verbs and take some time to learn, then you will be able to identify linking verbs confidently. The job of the linking verb is to connect or link the subject of the sentence, which is usually a noun or a pronoun, to another word. Forms of the verb be are linking verbs as well as the forms of the verbs taste, feel, appear, sound, and smell. But of course, that's not all of them. Take a moment to take in this list of linking verbs. As I mentioned, linking verbs connect the subject to 4 things: to another noun that renames the subject, to a pronoun that renames the subject, to an adjective that describes the subject, and lastly, to a prepositional phrase that names the location of the subject. Let's take a look at these sentences to find out exactly how linking verbs work. Mary is a licensed pharmacist. The linking verb is a form of the be verb and connects the subject Mary to the noun pharmacist. Pharmacist is a noun that renames Mary. When the linking verb connects the subject with another noun or pronoun that renames the subject, think of the linking verb as an equal sign. For example, Mary is equal to pharmacist. Let's take a look at another example. The woman on the phone was she. The linking verb was connects the subject woman to the pronoun she. She renames woman. Woman is equal to she. Let's take a look at another. Mitzi seems upset today. The linking verb seems connects the subject Mitzi with the adjective upset. Upset describes Mitzi. Let's take a look at the last example. The chocolate chip cookies are in the cupboard. The linking verb are connects the subject cookies to their location in the cupboard. All forms of the verbs be, seem, and become are true linking verbs. On the other hand, forms of the verbs taste, feel, appear, sound, and smell, and several more may be linking verbs or action verbs. To check if the verb is acting as a linking verb or an action verb, try replacing the verb in a sentence with the words is, are, or am. And if the sentence still makes sense, then the verb in the sentence is a linking verb. Look at these sentences. The teacher feels ill. The teacher is ill. The dogs sound lonely. The dogs are lonely. Your perfume smells lovely. Your perfume is lovely. But if you replace the verb with am, is, or are, and the sentence does not make sense, then the verb is an action verb. Read the following sentences. Mom always tastes her food. Mom always is her food. I smell smoke in the air. I am smoke in the air. He felt the sides of the box for an opening. He is the sides of the box. Because the sentences with is, am, and are do not make sense, you know that tastes, smell, and felt are functioning as action verbs in the sentences. Let's practice with another short exercise. Grab your piece of paper and something to write with. Identify the verb in the sentence, then determine whether it is a linking verb or an action verb. Pause the video now to answer. Continue watching the video to check your answers. Identify the verb in the sentence, then determine whether it is a linking verb or an action verb. Each one of us is special in our own way. The verb in the sentence is. It is a linking verb. Newspapers contain very useful information. The verb in the sentence is contain. It is an action verb. My boxing gloves smell heinous. The verb in the sentence is smell. It is a linking verb. Social distancing is very important when you go to public places. The verb in the sentence is. It is a linking verb. One representative gave a lecture. The verb in the sentence is gave. It is an action verb. Lastly, we have helping verbs. Helping verbs are sometimes called auxiliary verbs. Helping verbs are used to support the main verb, whether action or linking, in telling when something occurs in time and setting the mood or tone. The primary helping verbs are the different forms of the verbs be, do, and have. The following words are always helping verbs. They never function as main verbs. As I mentioned earlier, helping verbs support the main verb in telling us when something occurs in time and setting the mood. Eleanor will graduate from medical school in 2 years. The verb phrase in the sentence shows us that something will happen. Elka should check her locks before leaving for school. The verb phrase sets the mood and strongly suggests that the action be done. We also have what we call modal auxiliaries, or simply modals. We use modals by placing them before main verbs. Each modal has its own meaning, so the meaning of the sentence will depend on which modal you use. Let's read the following sentences and take note how even though the main verb remains the same, the meaning of each sentence changes because of the modals. Eleanor studies every night. The verb studies shows that Eleanor regularly studies. No helping verb was used in the sentence. Eleanor may study every night. The helping verb may indicates that Eleanor is considering the possibility of studying every night. Eleanor will study every night. The helping verb will indicates that Eleanor does not study every night right now, but intends to do so in the future. Eleanor should study every night. The helping verb should tells the reader that Eleanor does not study every night, nor does she plan to study every night. But it is something that would be a good idea according to the author's attitude. Eleanor can study every night. The helping verb can shows us that Eleanor has the ability to study every night, but does not indicate whether she does or doesn't study every night. Let's practice with another short exercise. Draw thunderbolts if the underlined verb is an action verb, a heart if it is a linking verb, and a star if it is a helping verb. Pause the video now to answer. Continue watching the video to check your answers. Draw a thunderbolt if the underlined verb is an action verb, a heart if it is a linking verb, and a star if it is a helping verb. Birds build their nests on top of trees. The verb in the sentence is an action verb. All students must complete the application. The verb in the sentence is a helping verb. Kara's dog looks happy. The verb in the sentence is a linking verb. Alex can juggle 2 tasks. The verb in the sentence is a helping verb. Harvey remembered his dear friend. The verb in the sentence is an action verb. As always, great job finishing this video. Don't forget to check your Schoology accounts for activities about this lesson. Once again, this has been English Class with Ma'am Cleo.